Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, the divorce is consummated with the Prince Charles royal family based in Los Angeles now financially independent. Meghan and Harry are now flying on their own. Less than a year after the announcement of the megxit, the Sussexes endorsed the divorce from the royal family a little more each day. What is the real state of relations between Prince Harry, now settled in Los Angeles with his wife Meghan Markle and their son Archie, and the royal family by deciding to relinquish a prominent royal role? Last January, Prince Charles's youngest son laid the foundation stone for an inevitable breakup. 8 months later, the Sussexes have not only put thousands of miles between them and England, but they're gradually cutting all the threads that connect them to the monarchy, starting with their financial dependence on the crown. Meghan Markle and Prince Harry announced this week that they have repaid all the £2.4 million committed for the renovation of the Falkland Cottage home. If they had previously paid a fixed amount each month, the slate is now paid. According to a source who spoke to the Telegraph, the couple have also given up benefiting from the private financial contribution paid by Prince Charles, intended to help them during this first year. While many mock their inability to be independent, Meghan and Harry are now silencing sorrowful spirits. There is no doubt that the ambitious contract signed with Netflix, several million US dollars this week, has played a big part in the revelations of recent days. Divorce is now registered. As royal expert Richard Kay notes in the Daily Mail, this decision somehow confirms the final separation from the monarchy. This signals that the divorce from Great Britain is permanent and also completely destroys the idea that it could play a role still within the royal family in the future. Analyzes a specialist at the time of the megxit, Queen Elizabeth and the Sussexes had agreed to a transitional period running until March 2021, intended to facilitate gradual emancipation. While the couple is now flying on their own and no longer depends on the crown, the break is well and truly consummated. Far from London, Meghan and Harry work every day to build a life that looks like them, even if they have to turn their backs on those who once gave them so much. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's UK popularity has plummeted. A shocked new poll has shown it will be harder than ever for Prince Harry to go back to his old life. He's gone from being adored to unloved. 2020 has been a year of charts, terrifying, vertiginous spikes on charts about COVID-19, charts demonstrating the wild oscillations of global stock markets, and nearly minute-by-minute charts plotting chances of Donald Trump and his signature bizarro wraparound quiff remaining in the White House. For the royal family, it has been no different. For years, nay decades, the charts that have plotted the popularity of the British monarchy and its various star players registered barely a tremor. The Queen was beloved, Harry adored, William managed to engender a reasonable amount of respect, and there was a benign tolerance for Prince Charles, plant conservationalist and one-time tampon fancier. Nothing much ever changed. Like so many things, the turbulence and the ructions of this year but have put paid to what was, in hindsight, a charming dreariness. The very day after Meghan and Harry, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, spectacularly announced they were quitting as full-time senior members of the royal family on January the 8th, the UK's pollsters have been regularly polling Brits for their views on the situation. On Thursday, YouGov, the nation's market research firm, released the latest set of numbers about various HRH are viewed by hoi polloi, and if your surname happens to be Sussex, look away now. The news from Harry and Meghan was positively and utterly brutal. For Harry, 48% of the adults have a positive impression of the former prince and 47% have a negative view, resulting in a net score of 1, and which constitute a 19-point drop from March this year. Meghan, who is viewed positively by 33% of UK adults and negatively by 59%, creating a net favorability of minus 26. That's the second lowest score among the entire House of Windsor. In fact, Camilla, Duchess of Cornwall, the woman publicly dubbed by Diana, Princess of Wales, as a Rottweiler and who was the most hated woman in Britain for decades, is now more popular than Meghan. Ouch. And what of Harry, the ginger-haired charmer whose Jeopardy and Diana's Q personality and persona saw him regularly take out the first or second spot in terms of royal popularity? The prince, who was once the golden child of the royal family, the apple of the besotted nation's eye, he's now tied with his stepmother Camilla. Double ouch for the Sussexes, who only 2 years ago were globally hailed as the megawatt superstar saviors of the royal family. This poll makes a spectacular fall from grace and the UK public's affections. It could be easy to discount these numbers. Who cares what a bunch of whiny, aggrieved Brits think of Harry and Meghan, given they have chosen to make their future in sunny California rather than rainy Windsor. But there is a bigger, far from complicated picture here, at the heart of which lies the fact that Harry and Meghan's futures are still tethered to some extent to the UK. To start with, while the couple have both been in North America since March this year and have not returned to the UK yet, at some stage they're going to have to make the return journey across the pond. While COVID has surely played a hand in keeping them thousands of kilometers away from his extended family, certain sadly inevitable events in the coming years will demand they spend far more time in Britain. Prince Philip's death, the Queen's passing, Prince Charles's ascension to the throne, and William's investiture as the Prince of Wales. These will be all the historic moments for the House of Windsor, and it will be unthinkable for Harry as the sixth in line to the throne not to attend, which is to say they might have spent much of this year away from nitpicking Fleet Street and censorious palace courtiers, but this is only a temporary state of affairs. The reception he and Meghan face when they do land back in Blighty is likely to be markedly different from the one they enjoyed only 12 months ago. In Finding Freedom, the recently published sympathetic telling of the Sussexes' journey from newlyweds to the palace escapade, authors Omid Scobie and Caroline Doran make the case that their sky-high favorability was such that some viewed it as a threat to the royal status quo. Senior courtiers were concerned that the global interest in and popularity of the Sussexes needed to be reined in the short period of time since the fairy tale wedding. Harry and Meghan were already propelling the monarchy to new heights around the world. The Sussexes had made the monarchy more relatable to those who had never before felt a connection, Freedom reports. However, there were concerns that the couple should be brought into the fold, otherwise, if left as they were, the establishment feared their popularity might eclipse that of the royal family itself. Make no mistake, Harry and Meghan were unequivocally the crown-pulling superstars in the palace stable at the time, but my has that crown-imperiling celebrity taken a spectacular hit in the wake of their quitting. Days after the bombshell January announcement, 57% of Brits said they had no sympathy for the couple's decision to step back, with the same percentage saying that they thought the Sussexes had treated the Queen unfairly. As the year progressed, so too did a growing roster of grim polls after the Duke and Duchess in August urged Americans to vote in the US presidential elections. Comments that were interpreted as tacit endorsement of Joe Biden. 49% of people polled in the UK said they didn't think it was appropriate for members of the royal family to discuss political issues. The same month, 48% of British respondents said they thought Harry and Meghan should be stripped of their titles, with only 27% of people firmly stating they thought that the couple should keep their titles. And in wake of the couple's mooted $130 million Netflix deal being announced, YouGov found that 64% of Britons were not interested at all in watching their content. Talking about voting with their remotes, it would surely take the thickest of skins not to be affected by these numbers. How will it feel for the couple who have talked openly about their struggle with press criticism to come face to face with a diminished public standing when they return to London? Factoring too the couple's lawsuits against the 3 British newspapers and their stinging rebukes of the press over the past year will hardly mean they are in for a glowing media reception. Right now, the return to home shores show every indication of being a rough one indeed. Looking back at this year, Harry and Meghan have spent the vast majority of it in a privileged bubble. First, in their borrowed $20 million Canadian mansion, a atrocity of brick and bad taste. Next came Tyler Perry's Fox Tuscan Beverly Hills compound.